It's true. I tell you, my house has a non-compete war zone in the middle. The living room, no one goes there.
Oh.
Right? Everyone has a TV in their own room, you know. It's like, and it's a 3-generational household, even more problematic. Depending on which position you take, you can say like Johnny gave you a lot of problems.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's you can say Johnny gave you a lot of problems, or you can also say Johnny gave you a lot of wisdom and a way of life.
If you look at the word filial piety in Mandarin,
孝
顺，对不对？孝 is filial, 顺 is smooth. So I learned that when you are filial to your parents, from the Chinese word, okay, I know you got a lot to say about that, but
I think the second term that you're referring to, right, is reciprocity.
Yes.
In the sense that you were saying like, you feel like you don't need to spend time with them. I would say you don't know how to spend time with them.
True.
Right?
I don't represent the entire Malay Muslim community, for the Malay family, right, for their idea of filial piety, right, is honestly a lot of acts of service.
whether they're lovable or not, it still comes down to the basis of communication, right? That means you have to ask your mom and your dad, like, what would they want from you? And then you got to ask yourself whether are you willing to give without killing your soul.
Parents shouldn't automatically expect filial piety.
That's my position.
Yeah, they should earn it. It needs to be earned.
That's
you cannot
my position.
automatically give one. So if not, right, if not, all parents will have bad behavior.
I would say warn parents, okay, out there. If you inherently expect this thing, that means it is a given. That means you're not going to work hard for it. Okay? And this is a very, very dangerous position to take. The repercussions will come back and bite you very significantly.
Which actually leads to a point that I think there's a human awakening. That overall level of consciousness is going up. But it's just unfortunate that our parents don't come from the era. Our parents just wanted us to survive. If we can survive, they're already a good parent already. Yeah. Right now, it's not about survival anymore. It's our parents need to be, our children need to be good citizens, right? Or they need to be good contributions. So the measure of success of parenting is different. Of
course. And I want to echo that point in a view that it is not judging whether parents are good or not, right? But solely in the discussion of like, how should you...
Yeah, but it's based on this whatever judgment that's causing us to decide whether we want to be filial or not, you see? So that's what we're trying to tell the listeners, or at least, no, we're not trying to tell you anything because you have your own opinion, but my opinion is that if we make peace...
I don't believe in the like, oh, you do, you know.
If we make peace with our parents, then being able to show love and affection and reciprocity becomes easier, even we didn't get much back. Because reciprocity implies that we must receive, right? That we give. But that the fact that is we can make peace with our parents, whether they're good or not good, and we make a choice that regardless, they're dependent on us right now, they're aging, they're olding, no one's going to take care of them. I choose to take care of them regardless of whatever they do to me. It's very empowering.
It is.
When you treat people that way.
I can agree with your position.
I mean, I can take care of my parents begrudgingly also.
Yo, that's not nice.
Why not nice?
It's my
Okay,
partner, like buy me gift, but I buy you because I know you want one, but actually
Like,
I
it's
don't
like this,
feel
no?
like it. I don't want to receive that.
Isn't that what guys do for the girls? I buy you flowers because I know you want. You know I don't want to buy
How do
for
you feel
it.
about that, girls? Actually, like if I
I
buy,
don't like flowers. I don't have to waste money. Just give me the cash.
That's why she's the SG budget babe, right? Like she's not the flower babe.
This is so good communication, right? You're telling your husband what you want, so you feel loved, right?
Yeah.
Then I just give you what you want.
It's the parallel is this, no. If you want to parallelize it to relationships, right? You know people parents who say they're staying together for the kids, and people are like, no, that's not right. What's wrong with staying together for the kids?
Yeah.
What is wrong with it?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with staying for your
It
kids.
is structurally advantageous to do that.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Yeah.
It is structurally advantageous.
Can I
from
share a
HDB,
story?
yes, please
Because
go
this is
ahead.
actually my case, right? And growing up, right, my family was never close. I like what you say. We were just where we just minded our own business. It really was. And my parents, it was very clear right from the start. I think when I was probably about like early primary school or something, that the marriage was just not going to work out. And they started sleeping in separate beds. Like they didn't want to hang out anymore. And even when they went out, they would spend more time talking to each of us as a kid rather than to each other. More like, okay, where next? Very coordinative kind of conversations. So I recognized it. I'm the older one, so I could see it, and I was like, if they end up divorcing, I can see why, and I wouldn't blame it. But I would hate it as a kid because then I'll be the kid of divorced parents. And I would hate the stigma that my friends would pin on me. So when they chose to stay together, I was very thankful, right? And I was like, I recognize all the effort that you guys are putting in. I recognize what you all are doing to protect us. This is your way of loving us. And I'm very thankful that I didn't have to grow up being bullied because my parents were divorced. And whereas I saw other kids having to go through this, I didn't have to. And I think that protected my childhood and helped me grow as a person in some way. Yeah. So I'm very thankful. But does that mean that I love you to want to spend time with you and, all the other stuff?
Answer is no.
Yeah, no, because I love you. I recognize and appreciate what you have done throughout our childhood. But it doesn't make me feel any different because when I spend time with them, it's still very toxic. But that doesn't mean I can't recognize all the good things they've done, that they've tried their best. So that's why I think this reciprocity will give back. But it has to be in a way that it is sustainable for both parties.
Yeah, I won't kill
Yes.
you.
That won't kill the child
Yeah.
at the expense of helping the parents to, survive and live a
Yes,
good
I fully
afterlife.
agree. Yes.
I think what's frustrating for me, right, is this like set of beliefs that everyone just imposes on each other, right? You need to take care of your parents. You need to be happy. Be happy.
Yeah.
Be happy. Don't begrudge. Like, why? I want to begrudge. I begrudge lah. I want to do it begrudgingly. I'll do it begrudgingly lah.
Yeah.
For instance, a long time ago, right, I had to wheel my father back. I had to take my father back from the hospital, and the hospital is just 5 minutes away from my house. Just a brief walk, right? And I'm like, oh God, this is so burdened, but I still do it. Then when I reach home, I label his medicine properly. Like, this is what you need to eat. Okay, I go off already. Okay, bye. I still do it. What? I still do my job as a child, right? I might be begrudging about it, but it is what it is. So if you want to do it and you're not happy, right, then okay lor.
It's okay, recognize it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to love it.
Yeah.
But if you do it as an extension of what society expects or what, like your family expects, and you made a choice to do it, then okay lah.
Yeah. And I suspect if you go on TikTok, right, and you put this clip up, right, this exactly that I say, it's okay to do it begrudgingly, right? You will see a lot of people will agree with me. Because it's not a popular opinion.
Yeah, it is. It is not a popular opinion.
And a lot of people who thinks that filial piety is like a given, right? I'll always come to this with like, you need to take care of your parents. You need. Okay, I can take care of my parents. If I send them to old folks home, I must take care of them. What?
Which brings us to the question I wanted to discuss: is sending your parents in old folks home considered unfilial?
I mean, if it's the best for them. If I cannot give them the...
Not just best for them, right? Also best for the child.
Yeah. If I cannot give them the level of care that they need, right? How? If I'm not at home most of the time and they need someone to talk to, because that's what old people like they like company, right? Then if you can do it with in the company of other old people, right, who are in the same boat as them, right? Why not?
And I add one more, because if the parent stays with the child and they already have a toxic relationship, whereby the child now comes home and home is no longer a sanctuary. It's a place where even after work, you cannot escape because you feel tired, because you go back and your toxic parent is there and you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Then it makes it worse for both parties.
It's true. I tell you, my house has a non-compete war zone in the middle. The living room, no one goes there.
Oh.
Right? Everyone has a TV in their own room, it's and it's a 3-generational household, even more problematic. Right? Because the elders generation is very dominating. Right, and then believes that her views are right and has no logical abilities to comprehend complex ideas, which I don't blame her, but that doesn't mean that my feelings are not validated, right? And that doesn't mean that she's objectively accurate on these things, right? So that's a different discussion, but a domineering figure, right? And then my parents are like just kind of like absent, too domineering, right? The power dynamics is too strong. So then there's no alpha in the house anymore. Right? Nobody manages this thing. It is a shit show. It's just there. So everybody end up creating their own little sanctuary in their own rooms. Right? And then you go in the room and say, the energy very different one. Like inside it's very nice, but you come out,
you step out, it's like, oh.
Wow, as I go toilet, it's like okay, breathe, go toilet. It's that kind of energy and it's problematic. Right? Highly problematic, highly complicated, which is why I cannot take the position that it is what it is, you need to do it. Right? Because I have been through that kind of complex, dynamics at home in that sense, right? So which then bring us to some of this discussion of like, how do you then show filial piety, right? Like and maybe one of the things will be like, does sending your loved ones or your parents, I would even argue a loved one is a very heavy word. Okay, don't even use it, right? Would you send your parents to old folks home?
And it's becoming more and more important, right? Because we're now in this age whereby the stop at 2 rule means that we have more of a heavier burden than the generations before us.
yeah.
And yet houses are also very expensive. They're also shrinking. So it also makes it very difficult for everybody to be in the same household. And then we're also on the cusp of this era whereby the individuality is becoming more and more important. So when you put all of this together, the only acceptable situation for most families would actually be to send a parent to a nursing home. Because you can't send your child to a children's home.
I don't dare to take the position that it's most families. Okay, I don't know about that.
Some
yeah, but
families,
I would say it is increasingly okay, and it's increasingly it is a social phenomenon. Right nowadays, the nursing home very beautiful and can go all the way to Thailand. Everything nursing home very beautiful. Right? So there's a lot of those things that objectively may be a better solution. But I think one thing I want to caution is I don't think we should expect our aged parents to like deteriorate in the sense of like they don't know what they want. You know, there is an inherent view here that once you are like 40 plus, you are like the alpha of the family, right? Then you can make all the decision. You know, that you know what's best for your parents. You should send them here. You should do that for them. You know, this is it's sucked into society, man. You know, it's like old people don't know what they want. That's why they have to gather around and play Lego together. Like what the hell? Right? Like these people have lived through a life. Whether or not you agree with how they lived or whether or not you feel like they have benefited you or hurt you, doesn't matter. But they have lived through 60, 70, 80 years of their life. Right? Does it mean that in the last leg of their life, they need to gather around, play Lego and be treated like an idiot that they don't know anything? That you have to make all the decision for them? The next episode. Right?
I guess that's why the nursing homes today are actually very respectful.
Yeah.
So they actually create a lot of zones. They give autonomy to the individuals as much as possible. It's only if you can't do certain things and you ask for help or you arrange for it, then you come in and help.
It really also depends on what your parents think about it. Because again, remember talk about Filial Piety is being pushed to them, right? And so they expect, that we have to take care of them. The 四代同堂, I mean 4 generations all living in the same house.
Now the 3代 also very
remember there's this very popular TV show called 四代同堂, right?
Is it?
So
is it?
Yeah, 4 generations is a very popular channel show.
TV show.
My time.
I only remember Tong Xing Yuan just saying.
No, that was a very later show already.
Chinese super show.
I think that our parents' generation would have a taboo towards old folks' home.
Yes,
and nursing home.
Is an element of that.
Of course, our time, I would actually send myself to a nursing home because I think I'll have better care there and my friends will be all there, you know.
What makes you so sure your friends will
because
be
we've
I'm not going to be there.
I actually have a bunch of guy friends. We already discussed that we even wanted to invest in a place and to build up a place for our retirement.
Wow.
Yeah. So hire all the young people to take care of us, right? They need money and then we need companion. So why not? So anyway, there's us. But because we had the awareness and realized that, oh my God, when we grow old, our partner might die before us. We better make sure we got someone to look out for us. However, our parents don't have that thinking, right? So I think my biggest challenge is, I agree with you, I think my parents will get better care if they are in a nursing home. However, I have yet to be able to influence them that it's okay because it's taboo among their friends.
Yes.
Their little society over there.
Yes. No, it's not a little society, it's a big society.
That bunch of the generation.
It's big bunch, right?
So you're the good boy here on this podcast who's very familiar.
Not saying good boy. It's not.
I think
I understand
it's
where he's
easy
coming
to be
from.
a good boy because my parents generally are okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm in your position, if I have your parents, I'll probably be in your position. Yeah. I'm just coming from a personal development point of view that regardless of how good or bad our parents are, we need to make peace to that. Otherwise, when they leave us, we will never be able to clear that conversation and we'll always be stuck.
Exactly.
So I don't disagree with that point. In fact, I agree with that point. You must find peace in that, right? Okay. So I think we want nursing home. I don't know. This one I don't know.
Is it gonna be
it's not an idea that I'm thinking about, but. Now that I think we have kind of trashed out almost all the angles that are out there, you know, in this like filial piety discussion.
I'm not done with the nursing home one.
So
I want to
sorry.
ask.
Okay.
You haven't had success with,
Haven't
talking to your parents about. What about both of you?
Yeah.
Never. I have never thought.
Never talked about it.
Never.
Have your parents communicated any sort of expectation on what they want?
No lah, but I do expect like if one day my parents need me to move back, right, then I'll just move back lor. Yeah.
Begrudgingly, but you see, he will still do it.
I'll still do it lah. What to do is like that lah. It's like that. You know, but then I think if this is a generational trauma thing, right, where you have to always think about your parents, right? Then I think the buck has to start somewhere, right? So why not start with with us lah? Stop it with us lah. So if you all have children, right, don't expect your children to take care of you lah. You know, make your own plans.
I expect that, but I'm earning my way towards it.
Also can. Yeah. Just don't see them like, no, you must take care of me because I gave
Yeah.
birth to you. Then the generation trauma doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop, yes.
So you all have to find a way to like not be so dependent on your children. Don't look at your children as a retirement plan.
Oh,
Exactly.
good point.
So the buck has to stop somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does. But what about you?
No, we don't have discussions. Zero.
Never had this discussion.
They don't
Do
talk also.
Do you know
We
what
don't talk.
expect?
We don't talk, really.
Sanctuary, right?
Really?
All their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, we don't talk. We don't
What's
talk.
the expectation you think they might have in mind?
I don't know what they're thinking. And I hate to project what I think they think. Because that's what they do
okay.
all the time.
Oh,
Right.
They go around telling people, oh yeah, this is how he thinks. No, that's not how I think. Because the information will turn one round and come back, oh yeah, is it like that? Like, no, who told you that? Right?
I hate that all the time
Yeah, because
as
I
well.
hate that, I will not attempt to try to project what they're thinking. We have zero communication. Hey, I hope you're enjoying Wise and Shine so far. I'm your host Reggie, aka your chief financial coconut, and for us to continue to do this show so that you become a tad bit wiser every week, you gotta like, share, subscribe, help us beat the algorithm. But even more importantly, if you can, comment in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and also some questions that you would love us to answer. Yep, now back to the show.
Okay, so maybe here I can
Yes.
share
Yeah, you-
because I suspect some of our listeners might have this issue
Conversation.
Yes,
where
please.
it is going to be very difficult onto whether you can put your parents into a nursing home, but you may have no other choice to, right?
Yeah.
So I had that conversation with my parents.
Oh, wow.
And with my dad, he was the first because he has several terminal illnesses. So it is very likely that's gonna come soon. We already started looking for it. He's already starting to deteriorate. And it's really bad to the point where the doctors even said he can't live alone. So we had to make different arrangements. And there was a point whereby we had to discuss, right? So I was discussing with my husband, shall we then take my dad in? Like, I mean, we don't have room, but we could always build a space, I guess, and compromise on some things. Like, I could give up my office and, our study room and everything then the kids don't study in the room or study in the living room like how I did when I was a kid and all. So we had that discussion, and in the end, the answer was still no lah. For very practical, many various practical reasons, it just didn't make sense for him to live with us and with our two young, boisterous kids. I have two boys, so it's crazy. Imagine one frail old man and two very naughty boys jumping and banging. Wow, I think he will get injured by them more than he gets injured outside. So it didn't make sense. And I had that conversation with my dad. So when we were looking around, initially, it was a very difficult conversation. And I have to say that if you guys who are listening haven't had that, you need to be prepared that you're going to be very frustrated the first few times you preach it. Don't expect success the first time, especially if your parents are very, still very old school. So it took a while for my dad to come around to it. I had to bring him around to different places, and I had to, talk to different nursing homes and ask them what are their criteria, what goes on. I brought him to see a couple, and he kind of got a sense, and then he started seeing and recognizing that it might actually be better for him to be in one of those places. Yeah, because that's where the way they talked to him was also very respectful. More so than we would, because we're just doing our own thing. We don't have time to listen to your old man stories. So we went through that journey, and he's not at the stage yet, because unfortunately in Singapore, I think you guys may not know this because you're not at that stage. You can't just put your parent in a nursing home if you want to. Yeah.
Tell
Unless
us more. Yeah.
it's a private one. So if you're willing to pay 4K onwards, which is a lot, it's literally your whole salary to put your parent in a nursing home, then you can do it anytime you want. There's space. But if you want to go through the public route, you can't. You literally have to fulfill, the Cash Shield 6 requirements, that the disability, right? You have to fulfill 3 out of the 6 and be classified officially as disabled in that category. Then you can even be put on the waiting list. Not even go in, waiting list or more, So while you're on there, which can be for years, you still have to figure out something. And that's the situation with my aunt. She already qualified, but still can't get a spot. I can't even get my dad on that spot because out of the 6, he only qualifies for 2. So he's still short of 1 to even be put on the list. So it's really hard, but that's the reality of Singapore. And if you talk to the ministers, I tried the ministers route, and they also acknowledge, and I understand, they say it's an aging population. This is really just the situation. We don't have enough space. We're doing our best trying to build more, but it's going to take time. So it's difficult, but we have to start to have that discussion, and eventually my dad is quite okay with it. My mom, for now, she's still fairly healthy, so she won't need it. But I think she also recognizes that the relationship is strained, and in time to come, she will eventually have to go there because none of her kids are going to be able to live and have her.
I think nursing homes are okay, right? If our parents are sociable. I think my dad, looking at what you just said, right? I think my dad would love the nursing home because you make friends easily, but my mom will hate it because don't like to make friends.
But she could still do her own thing in the nursing
Oh,
home.
is it?
You can still build your sanctuary in your own room.
You can call me an asshole, but I was like, wow, that would have been a great sponsor plug by MOM or something.
MCYS.
MCYS or HPB or someone, right? I think the ElderShield one is under MOM, right? MOM manages CPF. Okay, for all of you that didn't know, MOM manages your CPF, right?
Yep.
It's not MOH or MAS. Okay, so wow, like great sponsor plug. Anyway, you can email us.
But it's good info.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Very
great
good
info.
yeah.
And so much more natural than like, you know what?
You save more money.
We don't go there.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, right?
I
Because
know,
when
I
I
know,
went
I
through the
know.
process, the first thought I had was like, these are your pioneer generations. You don't have space. What do you mean? You do not recognize. But then as you go along, you start to really recognize it's a difficult problem to solve.
Yeah. It
will
is
take
a
time.
difficult
Yeah,
problem.
and
So I don't deny
We just
that.
have to begrudgingly solve the problem, or more like deal with it until they get a spot, or even they until they get.
And the very fact that you can say you are begrudgingly doing it, right? That is validating how you feel, right? So powerful. But okay, anyway, right? I think we went one round around this, and I love it, right? So it's about providing perspectives. And once again, it's not forcing you to take any position. It's about sharing and airing. Maybe I would even argue that. Okay, I would say that we are airing some of the more tangential or like more the outskirts viewpoint on this thing. So great job. It's a difficult conversation. Maybe in closing, right? Like maybe just share with us, how do you then do filial piety? You know, like all the like gymnastic ideas, done, right? Given who you are and how you are living today, how do you do filial piety?
So I feel filial piety is about doing it, whether or not you are happy or begrudgingly doing it. The fact that you did it is already filial piety. It's about, if I don't do it, what will happen to my parents? They're going to end up helpless. They're going to fall down. They're going to die at home. No one's going to look after them. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to step in and do it, even though it doesn't make me happy. Because I want a certain standard for them. It might not be the best standard, but I just don't want them to die or something bad to happen, right? So I step in. And I feel that is filial piety. It doesn't always have to be expressed to the best. The ideal filial piety is whereby the parents' love language is what the child is also giving. But we also have to recognize that for that to happen, because everyone's love languages are different, for that to happen is the relationship.
And the communication.
Correct. So it's like in a relationship, someone likes flowers, someone doesn't. The one who doesn't will still give the flowers because he wants the wife to be happy. But if the parent, let's say, wants time, but the child is not capable because time is very draining on me. You know how much it makes me feel? So the child doesn't give that, but gives something else, like money, or I send you to hospital because there's no one else to take care of you, or arranging all this stuff. I think planning, to me, is a big way of how I filial piety, because my parents didn't plan for their after retirement years, and it's a big problem. So I step in to plan. They don't make me feel good about planning it because they always question every single decision. So
they don't know you're the budget babe.
They know, but they question, they think budget babe not zai. So you imagine how
They
it's
must
very
atas
frustrating.
babe, budget not good enough.
Yeah, they always feel other people are better. So that's the very toxic part that I have to deal with when I talk to my parents.
Okay, so you plan
but
their
I still do it.
finances.
Yeah, I plan for them as much as they allow me to. I do things whereby if there's really no one else, I'll step in. But that's where I'll draw the line. Don't expect me to spend a lot of time with you or give you huge presents. I have even questioned, I want to bring my parents on a holiday, just like how I brought my in-laws. And then I thought, cannot lah. I think I'll come back from a holiday, date.
It will not be a holiday for you.
Yeah, it will be very draining on me that I will need a 1-year holiday after that just to recover from it. So I figured, no, I can't do it. Yeah, but so there will be certain boundaries, but I think at the end of the day, what really helped in this conversation as well is us bringing out the idea that just because you don't fulfill societal standard doesn't make you a bad person, and that you can still be filial but not be happy about it. But the fact that you still do it is filial piety.
Okay, so planning your parents' finances, not really spending time, it's okay.
Putting them old folks home
them
also
okay.
is filial piety.
Okay, so these are the things, the acts that you do. Okay, yeah. So I want to hear what do you do that you think is filial piety and then people should know about?
I mean, for me, my parents role modeled for me, because since when I was young, my dad will always put money at the table, like it's my pocket money. He would drive me. He's a taxi driver. He drives me around to school. He takes me for good food eating is his way of language of love. So I noticed actually without you, even you didn't ask that, I didn't really realize that. But actually a lot of things I'm doing for them are essentially just what they've done for me.
What
You
they've done,
learn
right?
from them,
Yeah,
right?
actually I
You
learned
give
from
it
that. I
back.
didn't really think too much about it, but these are the 3 things. And then we're going on holiday.
Hey, now that
next
you
week.
said it, mine also exactly the same. They
I think-
plan my studies and everything, so I planned
Which
that.
is why I think our parents do not know actually how much impact they're making to us, whether positive or negative.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid, we learn everything from them, you know.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So that's how I do it. Like food, taking them out, making sure that they don't have to worry about money, and going on holidays, having positive memories.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, Zach.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to answer this question. I feel piety by giving them what they need, lor. That's all. I don't subscribe to society standards. Like you must give them this amount of money, you must spend this amount of time with them. No lah. Like if my parents need help with like the TV, right? Then I'm like, okay, lor, I'll just buy you a new one, lor. What's the big deal?
I have a question. If your parent tells you that I need you to spend 5 hours a week with me,
Oh, then I'm not willing.
So it's just as a line draw. Lah.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't cross my boundaries, we must understand each other's boundaries.
In other words, you want to protect your energy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And what is comfortable for me, right? So I think that's essentially it, lah.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
another question. What if your parents say that I need 2 times more of what you're giving me? Would your stance then be, wow, difficult, but I'll work harder, lor. Can I just give you? Or also, no, I need to protect my...
I mean, my relationship that I have with my parents, right, is one that is such that they will feel very paiseh to ask me for it, because that's like I feel like that's like a Malay community.
Okay, what if
thing.
your aunt tells you, hey, you know that I heard your mom say this.
Oh, then
So the question here is, would you do the same with your time where you're protecting the boundary, or will you be like, yeah, I mean, it will be difficult, but I'll just work harder lah. Can. I'll try my best and give you double.
I'll tell her why I cannot, then I'll negotiate, lor. Yeah, I'll to give maybe a bit lesser, like not to what you need, maybe a bit lesser, or just say I can't lah. If I can't, means I can't lah. What do you mean to do? I have things to pay for, you know. I cannot give you this because I have things to pay for. Yeah, that's it lah. Yeah, just about. I think for me, filial piety is about drawing respectful boundaries for each other, and ensuring that you don't you don't feel like you're the loser lah out of this deal.
Yeah, that's a really important.
Nice.
Hey, don't skirt the
Yeah,
question.
I never siam. Okay,
Stinking.
But my answers are I don't really do anything that will constitute as filial piety. Yeah, and I will not say I don't feel the need to. I would say I'm grasping the idea. That's why I bring out this topic. Right, like Aku is a producer, right? So I decide like what to talk, right? So I brought it up because I feel like it's a very empty thing in my head. You know, at this point in time, I feel like me taking good care of myself and, you know, getting myself into a better position, you know, whether in life, financially, you know, mentally, everything, is already a very good thing at this point in time, right? And I don't feel the need to take on a problem bigger than myself at this point in time, right? So I objectively, by public standards, I have nothing like a filial act, you know, but I do feel that just taking good care of myself and not needing to feel a leaky bucket is a great position to be in at this point in time. Yeah, so that's my position. And I don't feel that it's not a right or wrong thing. You know, we're not saying how you should live a life, you know, how you should work with your parents on this thing. But it's just finding that peace and comfort, right? And if you're okay, you're okay, right?
I hope with this podcast, what we can also help push society towards is recognizing that not subscribing to the older generation society, the construct of what filial piety should look like or is, does not necessarily make us a bad person, because we're the generation who recognizes that there's more than just one factor. It's not innate, it's earned. It's also about how the relationship makes you feel, but it's still having a certain standard whereby you don't leave your parents to die. Yeah. And I think that is, at least that being a ground. I don't know, Johnny, would you say that is filial piety?
Johnny
feels like he's smiling. Yeah,
Johnny agrees.
I feel the positive energy. And to be clear, these ideas are very complicated. He spent his whole life, and his disciples continue to spend their lives to debate these ideas. It's not a simple like, oh, it should be like that. Right, so I believe he enjoyed our discussion, because it's not easy to get
channeling Johnny.
Yeah, because I can feel it, because it's not easy to get good nuanced discussion out there. about this topic. It's heavy. It's a heavy topic. So thank you.
Thank you guys for
welcome.
tuning
Thank you,
in.
everyone.
Wow.